Welcome to today's video. The video for today is the continuation of the story with NIO, the Chinese car brand that we talked about previously. Today I want to show you a new car. It's the NIO ET7, which is an SUV, and we're also going to drive to the power swap station and see how long it takes and how it works when you want to exchange a battery in the NIO. There is a new power swap station located near Hanover, and we are going to go check it out and see how everything works at the same time. Before we go, let me give you some impressions about the vehicle. At this point, I want to say that all the vehicles you see with me and have seen so far, those are it.
Either my cars have been, so what the heck?
When it comes to Tesla or other vehicles that I have rented somewhere as part of a test drive, that means there is no provision for explicit video shoots by car manufacturers, so it's not advertising either. That's just my subjective opinion based on how I experience cars, and I'll just tell you what I like and dislike about them. Here we go. Today I want to give you a closer look at the NIO assistance systems. Just as with Tesla and other vehicles, NIO's assistance systems can be adjusted, but the distinction is in the details. There are two aspects to assistive systems from my perspective. One aspect is how well they see on the road, that is, how well they keep the vehicle on track, what functions they can perform, such as lane change, taking highway exits, etc. And on the other hand, what settings does the system possess? Today I want to demonstrate to you the options for settings of NIO. Where can you locate these? We are presently on the home screen, and then we proceed to click on the icon representing the vehicle. First we land in the My menu. And there to the left, there is a menu item for driver assistance systems. The navigation guidance here is set up so that we always have the options on the left side that we can click on, like lighting, ambient lighting, and adjusting the seat position, driving assistance systems, etc. And on most of the screen, everything is displayed accordingly. Now, what do we have here? First, we have various fashion styles to choose from. Adaptive cruise control can be set separately, and lane centering can also be set separately. First point, adaptive cruise control. I have the feeling that if you don't choose any of them, then it's just everything in a row, one after the other. Now there's a way to set up smart speed assistance. What does that mean? That means nothing other than the vehicle is detecting the shields. And as soon as you no longer drive at the recommended speed, however that may be, you have the option to adjust the speed by pressing buttons, which you can preset in whatever way you like. And here we see this opportunity continuing. You can also activate NOMI to pilot as an autopilot. There is a lane keeping assistant with a warning function, so you have the option to configure it to only provide a warning when you depart from the lane, or warning and lane correction, then the vehicle slightly intervenes against it. So how easy or annoying we might find out later. Then there are also different types of warning types that you can set. We have visual and audio, visual and vibrating, or everything at once. And sensitivity, that is what I meant. How do I desire to have these tactile experiences in the vehicle at that particular point in time? It is low, medium, or high. Additionally, it is for which systems. It is the same here. The warning type setting is for the collision warning systems. Early, regular, or late. Essentially, we are simply maintaining the standard. And what needs to be accomplished next? An auto emergency braking system will be initiated and a rear cross-traffic warning will be activated. Watch out for cross-traffic behind you, similar to situations when you're at a withdrawing while getting closer to the other vehicles. The picture also clearly shows it in that area. The visual evidence is undeniably evident. Then, as a driver, you will also receive warnings accordingly. Additionally, Smart Assist will be provided, along with a warning about speeding, and that is most likely a highly beneficial feature for a large number of individuals. If by any chance you happen to miss noticing a sign in a certain location, the vehicle will provide a reminder to you. And here you also have the option to adjust the types of warnings. Currently we're at the lane centering feature, and with lane centering you can set up and customize active lane changes according to your preferences. At this point it's hidden. Probably lighting up is not allowed yet. Smart Speed Assistant. That's exactly what we had before. The pilot, who is not an expert, relies on lane keeping assistance with a warning function that are exactly the same. Essentially, the distinction between these 2 points is located directly at the beginning in the active lane change maneuver. The Smart Speed Assistant is always there and the rest is identical. So these are the settings options summarized briefly. We have the ability to adjust whether we can automatically adjust the speed of the vehicle to the prescribed speed. That's particularly intriguing when you enter the construction site, drive in or out, like on the highway, for example. Set up lane departure warning function, adjust correction intervention options with different sensitivity levels, and warning tones visually using visual, sound, and vibration, or a combination of visual, sound, and vibration altogether. The vehicle has a head-up display, and it shows some hints there. And now we're going to pick up Robin, and together we'll drive to the power swap station, and he'll also tell us a little bit about the vehicle. Hey, today Robin has returned to us just like he promised on his previous visit. Hey, we have already encountered each other. As mentioned earlier, we're currently en route to the power swap station to demonstrate how the battery swap process works using today's beautiful car. We'll show you the entire procedure at the station as promised. And this is an ET7, correct? No, that is not right. That is an EL7, not an ET7. I probably stumbled over my words a few times during the video, but that's an EL7. All right, let's get started. The thing is already in the GPS and we're on the road. Exactly, the EL7 is now our top SUV. We consistently maintain a comprehensive range of equipment as standard here. The sole customization option available is the choice of interior and exterior color, which can of course be modified to suit your preference. You have the option to modify the equipment on the optional 20 to 21 inch rims, while the rest remains standard. Everything else remains unchanged and is pretty much standard. Both camera systems along with the LiDAR system are incorporated in the ET5 vehicle, just like they were in the previous instance of the vehicle from last time. We possess a panoramic sunroof at this location, an exclusive feature not found in any of our other models. We better not open that up, there's a cliff sticking to the camera. By the way, this is the largest one in the class, so it opens very wide. That is a really nice thing to have. First, tell me, this is one fancy Alcantara roof. Is that standard? That's serious, yeah? Well, it is certainly not Alcantara. Alcantara is a brand term that is protected. That material is microfiber. But it all comes down to the same, I'd say. The dashboard, that's also such an interesting material. That sensation resembles a blend of leather and a fabric that possesses exceptional quality. Could you please enlighten me about its nature? What do you refer to that as? Sorry, there is no answer for that. However, all vehicles have that feature.
When you order a car, it is.
That is precisely the equipment you receive. The only aspect you can modify is the color of the interior. In this particular case, we have the black interior. Alternatively, you also have the option to choose either brown or white. There are different ways to do that. And that will also be noticeable in the decorative strips. We have the Karen here now, that's made out of rattling. This is a production from Germany. It is not made of wood, so sustainability is once again a topic of discussion. We place a significant amount of importance on this matter. Just like how we consistently ensure that all of our vehicles are equipped with 6 recycled plastic bottles, we make use of vegan leather for upholstery, and so on. Now tell me about the tech specs. How much horsepower does the car have? How fast is it on the highway in acceleration, etc.? So if we're discussing HP now, we're actually at 653 GP at this location. Is that the maximum performance of the system? That is indeed the peak performance of the system, isn't it? You can manage it through the corresponding driving modes. Therefore, it is not as if they are constantly accessible. You always begin in comfort mode, similar to all other manufacturers, since that is the driving mode on which the fuel consumption measurement occurs. And then using the button on the center console here, you have the ability to change the modes. Exactly. If you now, for example, switch to Eco, we have an all-wheel drive on this vehicle because we have motors in the front and back. When driving in Eco mode, everything is set to be more fuel-friendly, including the air conditioning. Did you decrease the AC? The AC is being decreased, but you can still adjust it in driving mode if you don't want that. Is this part of the driving mode, or do you have to essentially create your own driving mode for yourself? You cannot adjust the mode in comfort. If I go here in Eco now, I am able to tap on it here. And I possess the capability to personalize and modify every single aspect within that specific location. Here, we also have an acceleration of 9.9 seconds. We didn't fully tap into our potential here. That's interesting, we can too. In that mode, go to 3.9 and that would be the maximum. We actually can't adjust that here. Otherwise, it would not be an Eco mode. That would be the only aspect we are unable to adjust at this moment. Exactly, if not, eco mode would have minimal relevance. When we drive in eco mode, we actually only use the front motor, so we're also driving with front-wheel drive instead of all-wheel drive. Am I understanding correctly that in every mode and setting, you are limited to the available options? For instance, in Sport mode, the speed acceleration is 5.9, while in Sport Plus mode, it is 3.9. Is that correct? The adjustable factors always include the recuperation, the mode, the air conditioning, and the air suspension in this particular case. Furthermore, I want to emphasize that I haven't overlooked anything. As we just discussed, the air conditioning control is also one of the adjustable features that can be modified according to your preference. Just like the steering wheel, and then you have the option like a customized choice that is tailored to your preferences.
You can then also say, for example, I want the acceleration, the full acceleration, 3.9 seconds from 0 to 100. That's where we discuss its acceleration speed.
However, I am still able to adjust the level of recuperation to a high setting. Prior to me forgetting, could you also enable a one-pedal drive feature in this particular vehicle? No, we do not have one-pedal drive here. We also do not have paddle shifters where you operate with minus or plus, as you know it from other manufacturers. But with us, you can switch everything using the color scheme instead of physical controls. Paddle shifters don't make any sense either because there's no transmission here. That's probably a forward transmission. I only mentioned paddle shifters because they look like paddle shifters. For example, with Mercedes, with the EQC, they have these so-called paddle shifters, and you can use them to adjust the regenerative braking. No such feature in this vehicle, adjustable only through driving mode. Now, let's quickly return to the performance and discuss it in more detail. But how many horsepower is the vehicle registered with? Because there are two inputs, you know. There is the top performance, and that's what also ensures this top speed. And there's also long-lasting performance. He cannot drive at top performance all the time. No way. So he's claiming to have the same level of performance that we have in terms of comfort. To answer that 100%, I would have to take a look right now. We can definitely do that. Please leave that in Sport Plus. I want to experience the 39 seconds. I can understand that. Please hold on for a moment. By the way, while Robin is conducting his search, I would like to inform you that we currently have Sport Plus available in our town. 21.7 kW's consumption per 100 kilometers. Probably due to the traffic jam, you know.
Stop and go, but let's check.
We'll check it out later, then permanently. Until he was standing in the vehicle with 130 kilowatts.
kW, that's approx 176 GP exactly.
For comparison, I believe the Tesla Model 3 OMS is listed with 211 horsepower. What is the maximum speed? The maximum speed of our vehicles is 200 miles per hour. Locked down, precisely. Naturally, the automobile could hypothetically achieve higher speeds with its available power. But our fleet of vehicles, what is the maximum distance the car can drive on the highway for 200 kilometers? Have you observed that the top speed decreases as you drive for a longer period of time due to the weakening of the battery power? I cannot inform you from experience because I have not tested it in that manner yet. Then we will rendezvous with you at the power swap station, and then we will demonstrate a little bit more to you. I couldn't resist and had to try out the acceleration here. Right now we're still on the Messeschnellweg in Hanover. You can't drive very fast here, but the acceleration from 0 to 60, 70 alone is really impressive. I'm curious to see how things continue on the highway. The main question is, how will this acceleration curve develop? Does it flatten out at 100 kilometers per h or at 120, or is it continuous? No, you can already tell that it flattens out a bit at some point. Well, going from 0 to 100 is naturally quite brisk in 3.9 seconds.
After that, it will then be slightly less. However, you can proceed and give it another try if you prefer.
And what I would love to test now is an autopilot or the assistant. Very gladly, especially shoe clock holding assistance. Yes, then you activate it on the left side of the steering wheel. Exactly, the function is turned on and operational. And off he goes. And I must say, how long can you let your hands cool off the steering wheel in a vehicle? Now, he just demonstrated his hands are not on the steering wheel. That means we're currently driving into a construction site, which might not be ideal. However, it is also fascinating to observe how rapidly such systems can become perplexed by, for instance, dual lane markings in white and yellow. And of course, that was a completely unjust twist. Precisely, I was just on the verge of mentioning that was a somewhat unfair. However, in general, I have not experienced any difficulties or challenges with the autopilot system at the construction site either. During my business trips, when I have to drive long distances, I frequently rely on the autopilot system to assist me in navigating the roads. Because, I have to make phone calls every now and then due to work and all. It's just more chillaxed and laid back, How many seconds do you have to intervene?
Is there a value that we mention after a duration of 10 seconds? Should we keep a record of the count?
The pilot is activated. We are in a construction site, and the construction site is arranged with a temporary guardrail on our left and a marked lane on our right. Now we're leaving the construction site. The yellow line close. I am. Became slightly nervous. No, but that was once again, and it could be somewhat unfair to evaluate the assistance systems at such locations, because that is already the level of complexity, perhaps for certain drivers at that particular spot. The curve is incredibly tight. Those who are acquainted with this particular place in Hanover, that is the designated path leading to the fairgrounds in the direction of A2. That's a really tight lane and a really tight curve, where you're sometimes down to 40 in the under-rev house. So let's talk briefly about the power swap stations. How many are there today?
As of today, we're at 6 pieces. By the end of August 2023, still 6 pieces.
I do not want to stick my neck out too far at this moment, but I believe I should be able to express what my colleague stated during the opening ceremony the other day. We have already signed a total of 50 more contracts for powers from station, increasing our overall count significantly. We constructed the Grossberg medal, for instance, in a period of 8 weeks. Not constructed, but opened. The process was... That'd be good. But I have to say, it took us approximately 4 weeks to set it up, and then another 4 weeks until the actual opening took place. And as I mentioned, an additional 50 have already been signed. The intention is clearly to initially implement it at the intersections as outlined in the plan. Big, newly emerging charging park, so that you can basically ride across Germany without having to charge, so that I basically have a time investment for one refueling process. If I drive up to the gas pump currently with my empty diesel tank, go inside to pay, I would ask, when will this goal be reached? That such a network has been expanded, that all important places are covered there in order to ensure comprehensive coverage and accessibility for everyone in the area. Is there a plan that is known and can be communicated? Certainly, there exist plans, and the individuals from the radio power department are naturally working on it each day to further develop and push it forward. So here is the thing, as we are approaching the end of the year, it goes without saying that when it comes to that, we are also working on the application, as well as other related tasks, projects, and various stuff that needs to be completed. They are reliant on building regulations. That is frequently, regrettably, not a straightforward task, to establish powers from station in such a manner. I just accidentally stepped on it as soon as we got onto the highway, and I immediately realized my mistake. That is cool, you have probably witnessed it, the overwhelming emotion. Also 20 by the end of the year. 20 by the end of the year precisely. That is the plan. The estimated figure is 60 by the end of the following year. I am presently stating this. Yes, it is indeed possible that this prediction is accurate. I do not want to extend myself too much on that issue. We are uncertain.
This is not an ad for the brand, but it is simply our opinion or knowledge based on what we think or have come to know.
On top, who is the man behind the NIO brand like Elon Musk is for Tesla? Yeah, that's an interesting cue. That's Bill L. That individual is the founder of NIO, which stands for Next Eve Inc., so he holds the position of Chief Executive Officer. And at NIO we have the motto or saying, blue sky coming, which represents our optimistic outlook for the future. Yeah, what does that mean? What is it supposed to mean now, something like that? We want to make the world a better place. He's Chinese, just like that. and obviously the company as well. There was a large amount of smog in his city. He had a child and thought to himself, I have to somehow contribute in order to make it cease or make it improve. That is the way the entire idea came about. That is the thing that drives and motivates us in our work. That's what the logo symbolizes too.
Does it bother me?
The logo already exhibits an excessive resemblance to another brand in terms of appearance.
And the arrow, which symbolizes progress, serves its purpose. The logo already resembles another brand in its appearance. Don't get it twisted. It is simply not an easy task, you know? Not truly, but that is just the way things are in reality.
Precisely, it simply needs to be that way. At present, we are carrying it out in a more subdued manner. And to what extent is the founder genuinely involved in the process of developing the vehicle? Is it identical to the other one? Spending the night at the factory and examining the production pieces, that is definitely an improvement worth considering. What info do you have about the sewing box? I apologize, but I can't provide an answer to that question for you. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Williams yet. I haven't heard any anecdotes about that, at least not from Germany. The colleagues from China will likely provide a bit more information. Should we listen to it, or should we invite Robin over to him, or take me along, or whatever? We will also tell it. But basically, to come back to the development of the vehicle, we already see ourselves as a global company. For instance, the design of our vehicles mainly comes from Munich, serving as the primary source for our vehicle design process. Our design headquarters is in Munich. That's where our cars are designed, worldwide for vehicles. Worldwide for our news, yeah, so definitely somewhere a car from Germany, that's what we're looking for. Somewhere a German automobile. We also have a large number of German suppliers here. The engines are from Bosch, correct? Correct, precisely. In addition, we possess an air suspension system manufactured by ZF, for instance. Moreover, we have arms that enjoy a reputable reputation. Those items are not of inferior quality, but that is all very high quality merchandise and not subpar products. At this point, I'd like to briefly discuss the vehicle's fuel consumption. Initially, I mentioned a consumption of approximately 1.29 kilowatt hours. Now, on the last 10 kilometers of the drive which we just finished, we had an average consumption of 20. That is what the dotted line indicates. At the moment on the highway, we are at 17.6. I suppose that is likely also due to the fact that we are driving so comfortably in the slipstream of trucks, which helps to reduce air resistance and improve fuel efficiency. If we now say let's go to the last 100 kilometers, then we have an average consumption of 20.9, which is, taking into consideration the weight and power of the vehicle, I am of the opinion that the current value it offers is already quite satisfactory, given its specifications and performance capabilities. Well, it is like this, the ER7, that is just your typical SUV, you know? And now we are talking about the Power Swap, which is an innovative technology that allows for quick and efficient battery swapping in electric vehicles, revolutionizing the way we think about charging and range anxiety. Here. We need to descend. NIO just warned us not to blabber and to drive to the Power Swap station as fast as possible in order to avoid any delays or complications that may arise during the journey. Now Nomi is informing us that due to our proximity to the Power Swap station, it is now your turn and the time has come for you to start. Now we can already click on start here. We are not quite there yet, but...
What does that mean? The battery is preheated, or what does that imply?
Well, you know, at this particular point in time, we do not have a substantial number of NIOs on the road yet that we have to be worried about driving there and not being able to get a battery.
In all honesty, we need to be completely honest and truthful.
But of course, that's not the expectation. It won't remain so, and it doesn't seem like it will remain so either, because the cars are popular. Despite all of that, it is important to ensure that when I have a route and I am driving to a Power Swap station, I actually receive my battery and it is fully charged. The batteries are charged in a gentle and slow manner at the battery hotel, ensuring a careful and gradual process of charging. They are charged with 40 kilowatts.
But if it happens now that we register and there is no battery with the charge level we want, namely 90%, then the system is so clever and increases the charging power in the power swap station so that it is ensured that I also get my batteries. Very good.
And one more quick note. In my opinion, the NIO not only gives the car a face, but also a soul, because it accompanies you always subtly in the background, but sometimes it says something, sometimes fittingly, sometimes annoyingly, but it is always there, making its presence felt, adding to the overall experience. You mean Dinomi? Dinomi, what did I say? Hey there. NIO, alright, I meant Dinomi, without a doubt. Yeah, but it is a really charming feature, and the way she listens attentively all the time, she is a really good listener.
Yeah, absolutely, and she can do a whole lot too.
At present, we are at the power swap stage. At this point in time, the marking is drawn here, and it is strongly recommended that you should drive into it without delay. So, since someone has to stay in the car, I am getting out now and Robin will drive in, and we will attempt to attach another camera to show a bit more of how the actual exchange takes place. This is what the power swap station looks like up close. Here, the vehicle is about to be driven in by Robin, and down there in the floor, the batteries are being replaced. I think these plates separate and then the battery replacement occurs. So, here's the deal. Someone always has to stay in the vehicle, so Robin gets in and I record the whole process from the outside. And during that time, I affixed a GoPro camera in this location, hoping that we would obtain a close-up perspective of whatever is going to jump out of the vehicle. Alright, we were uncertain, we are taking the chance, the GoPro remains on, Robin enters in that manner. He is laughing, yeah, there is no risk, no fun. The risk is still relatively manageable. Understood. By the way, there is always a representative from NIO present at the power swap station. Ah, does he drive in from the other side or does he drive in reverse? Ah, does he have to back in or does he have to reverse in? This process is always accompanied by an NIO employee. Well, I guess it'll remain like that. And now what? So, I'm now at the designated spot. Yeah, so that means you always have to drive in from the side in this designated marking. Alright then, that makes it a little bit easier in some way. Now the car here is indicating to me the process of parking begins. And from this point forward, starting now. Alright, let's proceed with the parking process, shall we? GoPro fell off, didn't it?
Okay, we're filming ourselves from outside. Ah, that means starting the parking process.
As you can observe, the driver, in this specific case the Robin, completely takes his hands off the steering wheel and the vehicle drives itself autonomously to the corresponding station without any manual intervention. That's cool, I find it impressive. That means the vehicle recognizes its previous location and autonomously drives into the designated area from that point onward. As you can see, I am not doing anything at the moment. On the gas pedal, the car performs all tasks autonomously. And you must remain in the vehicle. Now we are reaching the exciting part. Yeah, and at this moment, the action is happening down here. We're trying to capture that here. The vehicle is packed, he tells me. At this moment, I am about to initiate the process of conducting a thorough quality check on the vehicle. Currently, all preparations are being made. The entire system is currently in the process of shutting down. It says that the whole thing now takes 3 to 5 minutes.
After the vehicle is driven onto the stage, it is readjusted once more, and then the doors open, so to speak, underneath the vehicle, revealing the interior to the audience. The driver must remain inside throughout the entire process. And there we can observe the gates have been opened, and down there is already the contraption that will remove the battery immediately. Next, the vehicle will be readjusted once more from the side and brought into the correct position. There we observe the small yellow sliders that propel the car towards the right and left. Up there we possess the cameras, so you can view the 4 cameras up there, and they exist to ensure that no individual enters this crucial area. So, you can totally continue on this path, on this crosswalk, but you are not allowed to exit the car or come near the car from the exterior. I went towards it, and that is what occurred. In this location, we observe that the device, which is positioned below, has been lifted up, along with the jack that has side guards as well. So the jack currently stabilizes the vehicle in a single position, and then we are able to observe in the gap between the jack and the vehicle how the device begins to ascend, and the pre-existing battery, essentially the discharged battery, is now being unscrewed. You are unable to see much from the side through these fenders. Let us commence from the very start. Now we can observe the device from the front, which has been elevated once more. There is a grand total of 10 screws that secure the battery in its position. A pair of screws can be found in the center of the battery, making a total of 2 screws in that specific area. Also, there are a total of 10 screws in the middle of the battery and 8 screws around it. Now we perceive the entire thing. The gates are in the process of closing and the complete recording is happening in real time, so to speak. In essence, there is no acceleration or removal happening in this situation. All in all, the entire procedure requires approximately 4 minutes of time from start to finish. I estimate it was approximately 48 seconds. Therefore, let's round it up to 5 minutes. This implies that within a span of 5 minutes, the new battery is charged up to 90%. So here we see that the gates are closed and the discharged battery is now being driven to the left into a storage compartment there. There, the battery that has been charged and conditioned specifically for us is also brought out and is presently being started up to ensure optimal performance. The mud guards are resurfacing once again. The jack, so to speak, elevates the vehicle, and here comes the brand new battery, which is then securely fastened to the vehicle using a total of 10 screws, of course, ensuring a reliable and stable connection. As I mentioned, the entire process usually takes approximately 5.5 minutes from beginning to end. Therefore, from the point at which the vehicle was essentially positioned in front of the swap station and assumed control, all the way until it departs from the swap station. Even if it took a duration of approximately 7 or 8 minutes, which is now being generously rounded up, it would still be considered a reasonably acceptable amount of time to efficiently charge the vehicle from whichever level it is at to the desired level of 90%. At present, it is the load or the contraption that drove away. Currently, they are closing the gates down below. At this moment, the vehicle is required to stay in its current position for an additional minute. The underlying cause for this is either the vehicle's battery being recognized once again, or the vehicle going through a complete restart of all its systems once more. And then it is already time. Throughout this process, there is no action that is required from the driver at any point in time. So Robin simply sits in the car and calmly lets it all happen without any interference or attempt to control the unfolding events around them. The initialization is running. The process will be completed in a few seconds. And then he's already driving down, as I said, with 90 battery charging power. When compared to 15, 20 or half an hour, it is clearly a tremendous time-saving option. Certainly the question arises, what will happen if a total of 10 cars suddenly show up and start doing that activity in unison? Yeah, then you can simply calculate the math on your own. So if each car requires approximately 5 minutes for that, then it will still be quicker than waiting at a charging station with multiple vehicles, where each vehicle then charges accordingly for 30 to 40 minutes. Well, what obviously speaks for the charging station is that there are several of them, and this is the area where we keep our vehicles, the garage.
Affirmative. The initialization process has been successfully completed, and Robin is now able to come down the ramp in the near future. We should proceed to discuss a few important matters at hand.
There you can observe a GoPro that recorded the entire incident. Regrettably, the remaining cameras have experienced malfunctions. Now he's going down from the top. The vehicle has been initialized and we're already done here. Now you can also witness a NIO employee in the picture who is currently present at the station. He also observes when someone then drives up and naturally assists the individuals accordingly to navigate through this entire procedure once more. But once you have done it once, you know it. So that is actually a piece of cake.